Hey guys, welcome into Faith and Football. My name is Neil. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, and I will be your host today. Sorry guys if I missed out on some start sets for Thanksgiving Day. Hope you made out okay. I know that if you had Swift, if you had Waller, if you had CeeDee Lamb hoping to go, I know you were kind of hurting. But what we're going to get into today is more of trades, more of what to look at in your playoff run. But as always, like the title of the show says, faith always comes first. So what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about fear. And I recently had a great conference with the church I go to here in Louisiana. We had a conference. It's called a Freedom Conference. And if you've never been anything like this, look, if your local church has something like this, please go. Okay, it does wonders for your spiritual walk and for any issues that you might be working through. Today we're working through some fears, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the fear that Jesus had before he faced the cross. And you might be thinking, it's Jesus, like he already knew the outcome. He knew what was going to happen. Yes, but what we've learned from the Bible is that Jesus was not only God, Father, Holy Ghost in one, he also became man to walk among us, to know what it was like to be one of us, to face the same temptations, to face the same fears that we face. And our scripture today comes from Luke chapter 22, verse 42. And I want to, before I get into that, I want to do this. The little booklet that they gave us at the conference, it defines fear as this: it's an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or a threat. See, when I was growing up, like I had one of those big dads, like you know how like when you look at your dad, you always see him as big. My dad was big. My dad's like 6'2". He goes about 250. He's a big dude. Okay. And growing up, I always had this respectful fear of my dad. But I always knew that everything was okay because he was there. And a lot of us, we look at Jesus and we look at God and we go, you know what? I have this respectful fear of God. Like I don't want to make him mad at me, but I know that he's got my back. I know that everything's going to be okay. And in Luke, when Jesus is in the garden and he's walked by himself a little bit away from the disciples, and he goes and prays, this is his prayer. He says in chapter 42, it says, Father, if you are willing, please take this cup of suffering away from me. Yet I want your will, not mine, to be done. So what does this tell us? How does this show fear? Well, Jesus is telling him, and he asked 3 times to take this cup from him. And God never answered. Not audibly, not instantaneously. He answered in not answering him. Jesus prayed that his will, God the Father's will, be done, not his own. He didn't want to go to the cross. He didn't want to hang on there for something that he didn't do. But he walked in faith, and he knew that the Father had his back and that the Father was not going to allow him to stay buried, that he would be resurrected on the 3rd day, that he would rise again, as scripture said, as God the Father had promised. See, something that came to me that was spoke to me in conference was that, if you look at our life, we're on the playing field. And when Jesus came down, he was like the quarterback. He was like the coach. And you can see stuff on field level, And, we see when we watch a football game, we see the perched view. We see the owner's box, and you might see a player that's wide open and you're screaming at the TV going, throw the ball. He's open. But on field level, that's not what it looks like because there's so many obstacles in the way. And you scared, you're fearful of taking that step, throwing that pass, making that cut, thinking, man, this just doesn't feel right. It doesn't look like I can do this. But if you had faith in the play that got sent down from above, then you would go ahead and throw the ball where you're supposed to and trust that the people who are up there know what they're talking about. They see things that you don't see. See, the coordinators set up top for a reason. They're able to see things that you don't see. See, God is the owner and coordinator of our life. He's already seen the end. He already knows what's going to happen. So when we get that nudge, that opening, and we decide to go take it, that's acting on the faith that is in us and is in God, to trust him that, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But you can only do that if you've been to the meetings during the week. See, there's a lot of planning that goes into Sunday's game or Saturday's game if you're playing college. You've got to be in the meeting. You've got to be in the word to know what the game plan is, to know what's going on, to have that faith, so that when you're tested on the field, you're able to perform the way that the coordinator and the owner expect you to perform. So I hope that as you walk this week, not only as you make your lineup adjustments for week 12, but as you make your life adjustments for whatever year you're in, that you walk in the faith and you walk boldly in the faith. So I hope that this has brought a light to whoever needed this out there. And if you're watching for the first time, welcome. This is what we do. We're bringing the faith and the football together. If you're enjoying this, please, down at the bottom, subscribe, like it, share it, and promote it on all your social media platforms. I'm hoping to reach as many people as possible, but if I reach only one, that'll be enough. But I can't know that unless you tell me. So down the bottom, leave a comment, or you can follow me on Twitter at Faith, the letter N, Football 1. So I hope you enjoyed that part of the faith aspect. Now it's time to get into the football aspect, and we're heading into week 12. We're deep into week 12 right now. We've got I'm sorry, I'm sitting on the couch now. I had my studio taken over by holiday decor, as you see behind me, our Christmas tree. And no, I have not changed my colors. I am still a diehard Washington fan. What you see behind me, I married a cheesehead. At least she's got good taste. I didn't marry a Dallas fan. Thank the Lord on that one. So, but yeah, that's the wife's back there. She's a diehard Packers fan. Has been since I met her. So it comes from her daddy. So it's not a bandwagon type thing. And no, she didn't like Brett Favre, but she does love her some Aaron Rodgers. So, look, if you went through this weekend or this Thursday's slate of games, we had 3 games. We had Chicago, Detroit, which, if you were like me, you're kind of hurting right now because you started Deandre Swift, hoping that expecting him to do great things against kind of a mediocre Chicago team. Then You might have started Cole Kmet. If you started him, good job. Way to go. He got you some points. And if you started Darnell Mooney, awesome. Good job. Way to trade for him. Way to pick him up off your waiver wire. I myself traded for him and started him. So I was happy about the outcome there. Outside of that, not a whole lot to report. Now, here's what we're gonna get into in a little bit after I run down the Thursday games. If you have Deandre Swift, you're going to be questioning what to do with him. Well, we don't have all the information yet about his shoulder injury, but until that comes out, we can only assume and make assumptions and, kind of try to game plan a little bit for the upcoming week. And you want to be the one to get out ahead of this rather than be reactionary to it. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I mean here in just a minute. Now, the middle game in the slate was the Raiders in Dallas. This one definitely hit the over. The over-under on this one was about 48 points, maybe 52 if I'm not mistaken. They definitely went over this one. Combined 69 points if I'm not mistaken, 33 to 36. I did watch this game win to overtime. If you had Schultz, great. Of course, as always, I'd never recommend a Cowboys player to be on your squad, but I know they have to be on someone's, and if they're getting points, then might as well get them. CeeDee Lamb out for this game, got 0 points, not what you were expecting. Sorry. Michael Gallup, okay. Zeke's doing okay, but here's the thing, and this is what you need to pay attention to. There was a comment made by the head coach earlier this week that said they are probably going to be altering Zeke's workload. What does that mean? My take on this is that they're going to be reducing his load, and it's going to be more of a 50-50 between he and Tony Pollard. Now, if you've got Tony Pollard, hold on to him. He might be a really good trade bait or somebody who could possibly get you into the playoffs, okay? So Zeke did good. Dak did good. Schultz did good. On the other side of the ball, Derek Carr went off. You got to love Derek Carr. Now, yes, he got a few less points than Dak, but for Derek Carr to get you 20 plus, that's awesome. That's totally unexpected, and I will take that any day of the week, twice on Sundays, please. Thank you. So he did good without his primary target in Darren Waller. Now, Darren Waller went down with the injury, and we're going to go over what that means as well and what you can do moving forward. Foster Monroe becomes very interesting. Hunter Renfrow had an outstanding day. Josh Jacobs even did well also. And then the night game, this was just ugly. Look, if you have a Saints player, sorry, unless it's Alvin Kamara, you might want to move on. Look, I know Mark Ingram is good, but I'm really not pinning my hopes on Alvin Kamara, okay? Or I'm sorry, on Mark Ingram to get me into the playoffs. There's just not enough volume there, and the way that the Saints are playing is way too up and down. One week they look like world beaters. The next week they're getting smashed by the Bills. And I know, I get it. It's the Bills. But the way the Bills have been playing, come on. They're more up and down on the roller coaster, okay? So 1 week, I know I suffered this myself. 1 week it was 45 points. Next week, 7 from Josh Allen. Josh Allen this week, 34 points. Next week, who knows? Also, the Bills running backs, please, for everything that is great in football, please stop trying to pick which Bills running back is going to go off, because it's going to be none of them, okay? The number one RB in Buffalo is also the quarterback. Josh Allen's it, guys. As far as the run game goes, That's it. The only thing you're picking from in Buffalo is whether it's going to be Cole Beasley or Emmanuel Sanders, because we already know that it's going to be Stephon Diggs, number one. So who's going to be number two? And you got to throw into the mix my boy, Dawson Knox. If you had Dawson Knox, awesome. He was on my bench, but hey, I got Mark Andrews, so I'm comfortable with that. Even if he winds up getting less points than Dawson Knox did, I'm still good with that because it's the smart play. It's the right play. Does it always work out in fantasy? No. But we can only do what we can do, guys. So moving forward from that game, anybody on the Saints, just please just stop. Just stop. Until they get this settled, just stop. So we're talking trades. We're talking what's and where to go from your injured players that got dinged up on Thanksgiving Day. Let's start with Deandre Swift from Detroit, star running back. Look, if you've got him, here's your options. One, you can go out and pick up Jamal Williams if he's not already taken. Yes, he's going to have pass through waivers because they already played, but go ahead and put your waiver in now. And there's something, you might have heard this before. It's called FAB. It's called a free agency budget. It's where you get a certain amount of money, make-believe money, to bid on whether or not you get this player. I don't run that way. We don't have that in our league. We have a waiver priority list. So if you are number one on the priority list, you get the guy first. If he keeps going down and nobody else wants him and you're the only one to get him, then he's yours. So regardless of how your free agency works, if Jamal Williams is still on your waiver wire list, please go out and get him because he will be the substitute until Deandre Swift gets back. Now, how long is he going to be out? We don't know, but having the insurance back, what we call a handcuff, is always a good idea. Okay, just ask anybody who had Derrick Henry. Maybe not such a good example because they did absolutely nothing. But having a backup back like maybe A.J. Dillon in place of Aaron Jones in Green Bay, that's a good idea. So things like that you definitely want to look for. Now, what's your other options with DeAndre Swift? Well, if you don't have DeAndre Swift, here's what you can do. Go to the owner. Maybe you were smart enough to get Jamal Williams earlier, and you're going to let him rent him because that's basically all he's going to be doing until Swift gets back. As long as it's not a season ending, wait for the report to come out, then make a trade offer. You're talking about a backup running back for the clear-cut workhorse number one running back. Now, that's a good deal. That's how you make trades, okay? This late in the season, your waiver wire, it looks like Thanksgiving leftovers right now. It's been picked through a bit, and there's not a whole lot left, okay? There's a little meat on the bone. The turkey's not quite picked dry, and you might have a little bit of casserole left over. The mashed potatoes are gone. Forget it about the rolls. And dessert, you might want to go stop by Keller's Bakery and get you a new pie, okay? Speaking of which, I would love to thank Keller's Bakery for supplying our Thanksgiving dessert this year. Got a nice pecan pie from Keller's Bakery. It was absolutely phenomenal. Loved it. Dusty, thank you very much. I appreciate it, my brother. And if you haven't got one, look, Christmas is literally right around the corner. Make sure you get your order in. Go down. Look, they've got more than just pecan pie. Check them out on Facebook. You can order there. And if you're in the area, if you're in Youngsville or anywhere in the surrounding area in Lafayette or the Youngsville area in Louisiana, you can find them at 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway. Please go down there. And if you tell them that Faith in Football sent you, you get your 2 free mini cupcakes. What could be better than that? Come on. You can get some donuts. You can get pie. You can get cake. It is absolutely phenomenal. And Dusty's mom, does an outstanding job decorating cakes. So if you got a special occasion coming up, as my parents do, not only is my dad's birthday coming up, but their anniversary is coming up as well. Shout out to mom and dad. Happy anniversary, and dad, happy birthday. So what do you do with Deandre Swift? You can make the trade. You can buy low. This is what we're talking about when we say buy low. Go in. Look, maybe the owner is hurting for a win. This is your playoff stretch. You've got 3 weeks before the playoff starts. You got week 12, week 13, week 14. Playoff start in week 15, guys. We're coming down the home stretch. And for some of us, it is seriously crunch time. We need a win. We need to get in the playoffs. Okay. All we need to do is get in. But make sure that you're not cutting off your nose to spite your face. Okay. Don't go all out if you don't need to. If you've got depth at running back, just put them on your IR. You're good. Okay. Stick them on your bench. If you've got depth, rely on the depth. Okay. Now, if you get a really good offer, by all means, hit me up. Give me the rundown about what it is. And like some other people that have hit me up, I'll help you guys out too. I'm here for y'all anytime you need. Just hit me up, primarily on Twitter for trade questions. But as always, down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share, and leave a comment about what you're going through as far as a trade offer goes. Or if you're looking to get someone off of another owner and you want to know how to go about it and what could possibly be that little extra nudge to get them over the edge to pull the trigger on the deal. Now, Darren Waller got dinged up. You're not going to trade Darren Waller. Okay. So what are you going to do? Foster Monroe probably is on your waiver wire. Go out, get him, put your waiver claim in right now. Okay. Another guy who could possibly be on your waiver wire, Pat Freiermuth. Look, if you listen to the ballers, the moose is loose. Yes, I said the moose is loose. And he is definitely the only game in town now that Eric Ebron is on IR. Look, Pat Freiermuth, rookie tight end. If you remember Heath Miller with Pittsburgh, that guy was a beast, and so is Pat. Look, Pat and Ben just have this connection, and you know that Big Ben is not chucking that ball downfield. So any of you Chase Claypool owners, good luck with that deep ball because Big Ben just ain't got it in him anymore. Okay? So you're not going to trade Darren Waller. Let's say the Pat Freiermuth is off and you're waiting on Foster Monroe. Look, just wait on it. It's a tight end. You can pick up somebody, okay? Hit me up down the bottom or on Twitter at faith, the letter N, football 1, and ask me who I think you should get, and I will be more than happy to give you my opinion, okay? So who are we looking at? Next is A.J. Brown. Look, A.J. is on IR. That means 3 weeks at minimal. So he's not going to do you any good unless you're locked in for the playoffs. Now, you might be limping into the playoffs, but that's okay. Here's the thing, though. If you're set for the playoffs, go after A.J. Brown. If you've got depth, take one of your depth pieces. Look, you're not hurting, but this could put you in the Super Bowl, okay? This could put you in that Week 17 championship that you've been striving for all season. Go to the A.J. Brown owner. They're probably hurting for a win. If they've got him on their IR, offer them something, anything that's a viable wide receiver option. As long as they don't have wide receiver depth, they're probably going to go for it. Okay. Now, I'm not talking, don't get crazy and like Darnell Mooney's coming up. Hold on to him. Okay. But guys like Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders that are attached to a really good quarterback could be very tempting for somebody who's basically getting nothing out of A.J. Brown now. And if they don't get a win, they're not going to make the playoffs. So that really does them no good. See how you work that? You guys know what I'm talking about. So A.J. Brown, Michael Carter also put on IR from the Jets. Now, look, I love the Michael Carter story. I loved having him on my squad, and I love the upside. But I'm sorry to say, the chapter's closed. The book, it's over. You're done. It's just let him go. Okay. You're not doing anything with Michael Carter. Nobody's going to take him from you. And he's not going to be one of those little incentive pieces on the back end of any kind of deal that you're going to work. Okay. Just go ahead and drop him. He's on IR 3 weeks. He's not doing you any good anyway. Okay. Plus the fact that if Zach Wilson comes back, Zach Wilson wasn't using him anyway. So, sorry to bust your bubble on that one, guys. CeeDee Lamb is my next up. And look, CeeDee Lamb went through concussion protocol, was unable to come out of it, was unable to make that last stride that we needed. So he was out for that game. Now, what does that mean? That means that he's a perfect buy low candidate. Once again, go in low, okay? Give yourself some room to move, okay? Some wiggle room, some maneuvering room, but don't overpay for CeeDee Lamb. With the concussion, those are always funny things to play with. Plus, he hasn't been really that breakout yet. So while you might need a little playoff push with CeeDee Lamb, don't overpay and don't give up more than what he's worth. Okay. Right now, I'd say, yes, he's got wide receiver 1 potential, definitely, especially with Dak Prescott. But if he's not on the field, he's not doing you any good. Go in now before the weekend starts, before these games get rolling on Sunday, and maybe you can pull something off. You never know. They might just be that desperate. So let's take a look at my league of record, and we'll go through a couple of things real quick before we wrap this up. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm like, what in the world is happening? I think I had an update on Zoom. Okay, so as we see here, this is what I love about Sleeper. Sleeper gives you a percentage, your win percentage, based upon the projections of your remaining players along with players that have already played. Now, even though I'm losing by 20, if we click on this matchup, and yes, this is my oldest son's team. He does have Dak, got him 19. Tony Pollard got him 16. So that's great. But I'm not really scared of anything else going down here. You see, he also had Derek Carr. Now, this is one thing that I don't recommend, and unless he's watching this, Jay, this right here is a no-no in fantasy football. You've got 2 wide receivers. Yes, they're both playing Atlanta, but not both of them are going to go off. Is it going to be hard to say whether it's going to be Laviska Shenault or Marvin Jones? Yes. Are there going to be enough points in this game to actually be a viable, option for you? Probably not. Okay. Now we've got Carolina versus Miami. Okay, fine, but with the way the 2 is playing, this could turn out into a shootout. Claypool, I said it earlier, good luck, because Big Ben's just not going to be able to get him the ball. Jamar Chase, love this pickup. I was really envious when he made this during the draft. They're playing Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not that great against the pass anyway. Yes, he's going to have Micah Fitzpatrick on him, but Jamar Chase is just a speed demon. Okay. Now we see Swift here. He was able to fumble the ball, so I lost 2 points on that one, and he got knocked out early. So I wasn't too happy about that. The Saquon Barkley move over here. It's against Philly, so that's kind of that's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. They're so bipolar, it's not even funny. Lamar Jackson back in my lineup. I'm really grateful to see this. I haven't been able to use him since I traded for him. CMC, look, CMC is CMC. That's all you got to say. Darnell Mooney did, like I said before, did really good for me. 5 of 8 for 123, no touchdown. But when you get that much yardage, you're still having a really good day. DK Metcalf, yes, he's going against my Washington team, and I wish them all the best. But I do need DK to, kind of bounce back. And here's the good thing. With the DK Metcalf, you know that it does not take that much for him to have an absolutely stellar performance. He could have 3 catches. One of them could be an 80-yard touchdown run. The other 2 could be 40-yard bombs. And you're good. Boom. Right there, you've got, 160 yards and a touchdown? I'll take that any day, all day, okay? Especially on Monday night, most definitely. And I've got a late game coming here with Mark Andrews against Cleveland. I got Mike Evans against Indianapolis. My boy Jonathan Taylor against Tampa Bay. And they say you can't run on Tampa, but with, I think it's Vita Vera out, or at least hurt, that run defense is not scary at all. I mean, come on. We saw Washington run on Tampa. Really? Really? You're going to let Antonio Gibson run all over what used to be the number 1 run defense in the league? Please. Now, here's the issues I have on my bench. I would love to be able to play Miles Sanders, but I can't. I just can't bring myself to pull the trigger on that one. Deandre Johnson from Cleveland. He's an insurance policy because of Chubb's injuries. Jamal Williams, I'm waiting for something to happen with Melvin Gordon. Brandon Ayuk, another insurance player that I have for Deebo Samuel. Dawson Knox, I'm just waiting for trade bait. He's an insurance policy for me right now because I traded for Mark Andrews. And the Rams, I'm waiting to see when they're actually going to show up. I'm hoping it's going to be this week against Green Bay. Sorry, honey. But at some point in time, they're going to get their stuff together and realize how talented they really are. Now, let's take a look here. This is probably the tightest matchup we have this week. We got Jalen Hurts, James Robinson, and this is what's really funny is the fact that these 2 players, and this is Dusty with Herbert and Eckler, and then we got Greg with Hurts and Robinson. They actually traded, and Greg gave up Alvin Kamara for Waddle, Robinson, and Jerry Jeudy. And he hasn't been poor Dusty has not been able to play Alvin Kamara for 2 weeks. And he's not going to be able to play him this week because they're already gone. So I do like the Bateman start. I was surprised to see Washington's defense up there, but the way that Russell Wilson's been playing, I get it. And this is why you have to monitor your league and your lineup, because Corey Davis is listed as doubtful. So if he's doubtful, then you need to run down here, look at his bench players, and he needs to start. Oh, here we go. He needs to start Kadarius Toney over Corey Davis, because we see Kadarius Toney down. Oh, I'm sorry, he is out. My bad. Or he is doubtful. Let's see what the news is on him. Unlikely to play, quad injury. So, what are Dusty's options? If you have something like this, we've got Tyreek on a bye. Michael Gallup's already played. Mark Ingram is out. Kamara is out. Here's what you do. You take Mark Ingram and you take Kamara. You put them both on your IR, and that frees up, well, if your IR allows out players to be put on your IR. That will allow you in this league to go out and make a pickup without losing a player that you do not want to drop, okay? Now, J.D. McKissick, definitely expendable. So if you need to drop somebody, I would definitely drop him. Now, you see Adrian Peterson over here under Greg's team. That's something that you need to do away with because he didn't have a team. He got dropped. So AP needs to go bye-bye, okay? James Conner, back in action probably next week, but on bye right now. Same with AJ Green. Now, Gronk is in, and let's see, his tight end is Dallas Goedert. So I'm good with Dallas Goedert being in there against a really bad Giants team. So, however, the Giants are currently without Jason Garrett. So hopefully that offense can start clicking a little bit better. Okay. Now we're talking about paying attention to your lineup. Prime example here, Edmonds on a bye, Kirk on a bye, Moore on a bye. So all those guys are on a bye. You've got to change out your lineup. Robert Woods needs to be dropped. He's out for the season. Tyler Lockett, Russell Gage, T.Y. Hilton all need to be moved up. Okay. Well, let me take it back. Probably Russell Gage and Tyler Lockett definitely need to be moved up. I don't know how much I would trust T.Y. Hilton at this point, but my boy does need a wide receiver and a flex player. Not to mention, he needs to go on the waiver wire. And let's go take a look real quick. Players, this is free agency. We're looking at for a running back. Now, here's what I look at when I'm looking at this. I want to look not at the projections. I want to look at the stats for the season and see who's got me the most fantasy points right now. Now, Devontae Booker is going to be up there, but you got to think that was only because Saquon was on the injury reserve. One player to definitely target if you need a plug and play for this week, Ty Johnson, because Michael Carter is on IR. Definitely, please, if you're in a pinch and you need a running back, go out and get Ty Johnson. Look, yes, they're going up against Carolina, but I'm telling you right now, he's probably the only one on your waiver wire that you're going to be able to get. Alex Collins could be a good play as well. And that's pretty much where it is. Really don't like anybody else on this waiver wire. So I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into what you can do and what you can probably get for certain players. Now, as always, everyone's league's different. Everyone plays different rules, different scoring systems. If you have a question and you need some help up until game time, I will be available. Please hit me up at Faith and the letter N Football 1 on Twitter, or down the bottom on this or any of my videos. Please leave a comment. Hopefully it's this most recent one. And as always, remember, football's great, but God is greater. You guys have an awesome weekend. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see you next time on Faith and Football.